back to English with Sagacious. Today, join me as I break down the differences between two verbs many of my students mix up most of the time. The verbs are to lend and to borrow. This is probably down to the confusing state of the verbs because they roughly means the same thing. However, I guess it's a good phrase that will enable you to use these verbs 100% correctly in your everyday conversations, or probably when situation lands. If this is something you are delighted to amass knowledge on, don't snooze, or stay tuned. Subscribe to your channel, share because there are a lot of pronunciation tips and grammar lessons on the way. Don't let yourself mistake. Learn the difference between lend and borrow. The difference in the two verbs is locked in the direction. However, let's start with the meaning. To lend means to give something out to someone for a limited period of time with expectation of getting it back. On the flip side, to borrow means to receive something from someone for a limited period of time with the intention of giving it back or returning it. Both to lend and to borrow are something in common, which is for a limited period of time. I always tell my students that the best way to remember the difference between to lend and to borrow is to think of the syllables. Lend, one syllable. Give, one syllable. So, lend equals to give. Borrow, two syllables. Receive, two syllables. So, borrow equals to receive. I've spoken about the meaning. Now I'm going to be progressing to the properties. Thereafter, the quiz session. The properties of lend and borrow has to do with the important things you need to master knowledge on as regard the case, the collocation, and the types of the verb. Talking about the type, to lend is an infinitive with a base as lent, the simple past tense as lent, and the past participle as lent. This actually makes it an irregular verb. Borrow, on the other hand, has the infinitive as to borrow, the base form as borrow, the past tense as borrowed, and the past participle still remains as borrowed. This makes to borrow a regular verb. Talking about the collocation, this has to do with the prepositions that goes with lend and borrow. It is very much important to take note that depending on the structural pattern, lend could collocate with till. In the same vein, depending on the structural pattern, borrow could go in pair with from. So you lend something to someone and borrow something from someone. Moving on to the case, this has to do with the right pronouns to be used and not to be used after lend and borrow. Lend can possibly be followed by any of the objective personal pronouns, which are me, you, us, them, her, him, and it. So you can possibly say lend him, lend her, lend us, lend you, lend them, lend it. But it is non-standard to use any of the objective personal pronouns after borrow. So you don't say borrow me, you don't say borrow her, you don't say borrow them, you don't say borrow us, you don't say borrow you, you don't say borrow it. Wait, don't drag me. Let's work on some examples. I'm going to prove it to you why it is absolutely wrong or non-standard to use any of the objective personal pronouns after borrow. So you don't say borrow me, borrow them, borrow you, borrow us, among others. In this illustration, I'm going to be using the names of my lovely siblings, which are Sarah and Daniel. I hope you don't mind. See Sarah this time around? Sarah. In this illustration, Sarah asks 1,000 naira and Daniel needs 1,000 naira. So Daniel can possibly say, can you lend me 1,000 naira? He can also say, can I borrow 1,000 naira? But it will be wrong for him to say, Can you borrow me 1,000 naira? Do you know why it is? Cameraman, let's take a replay. I always tell my students that the best way to remember the difference between to lend and to borrow is to think of the syllables. Borrow, 2 syllables. Receive, 2 syllables. So, borrow equals to receive. So that means that if borrow means receive, it is wrong for me to say, or for any other person to say, can you borrow me 1,000 naira, or whatever the amount is. The person is indirectly insinuating that. Can you receive me 1,000 naira? That is ungrammatical, very ridiculous. Do you understand now? In response, Sarah can also say, I can lend you 1,000 naira. You can borrow 1,000 naira. But it would be wrong for her to say, I can borrow you 1,000 naira. Simply because borrow means receive. So it would be wrong for her to say, I can borrow you 1,000 naira, that is, I can receive you 1,000 naira. That is ungrammatical. Do you understand now? So this is a point you need to take note. A few questions will be appearing on the screen now, and I want you to give me feedback as regards your performance in the comment section. If you've learned a lot of things in this video, can you subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video, because there are a lot of pronunciation tips and grammar lessons coming on the way. My target this year is to reach 700 subscribers, but that won't be possible without your participation. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like the video, and share it. Thank you so much. See you next week Saturday. Goodbye. Let's take a quick Do you say, who has a pen, or who have a pen? Why does she call, or why does she call? These are some of the problems learners of the English language actually baffles with from time to time, due to the fact that they find it a little bit cumbersome to know the right kind of verb to apply after all WH words in WH questions. WH questions are otherwise known as the special questions. They're called special questions simply because yes and no cannot answer them. And all WH questions are always introduced by WH words, which include when, who, what, where, why, among others. Whenever a question is actually inquired about the subject of a sentence, it is very much necessary you apply a singular verb. Who bakes the cake? You don't say who baked the cake.